Bisa? No está on? No está on. Live and poppin'. For the Chubato Beers. Man. Get the Kiko. Good Charles in the house.
Start without a beer.
No. Beer tem que beber, não de beer Chubato, pessoal.
Yeah. Go, sir.
Sei também tá fuel para esse session.
Well, is this thing showing now?
Yeah? No, it's not live. It's not live. It's gonna...
I'm gonna cut it.
Don't worry about it.
Pull my big hat out and then we're gonna like...
No?
No.
So I can't call up somebody and say, watch?
No, you're gonna have to call him when it's published. What's up, y'all?
Come here live. You have to come here live.
Sei também por. No, me quero shout out Chubato. O de Bia também, vou começar. Sempre cordialidade. Quero shout out também brother Nandi Huma Podcast in the host. Vou começar. Support nos meus renda na quinana, tá muito importante. And that's what we're gonna talk about also a little bit tonight with Charles.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not as famous as you think you are.
Okay.
With you.
Neither are you.
Neither am I. But I'm more famous than you on the island. So.
Hey, we need to back up a minute.
Yeah.
This place, Chubato. Mm-hmm. I used to walk here when I was, 6 years old.
Oh.
And had I known that this was
like
going to be a bar,
100 years ago?
I would. Yeah, no, it was a long time ago. If I knew this was going to be a bar, I'd have just waited. Wait like 15 years, I'd have been good.
No, it's a nice place, man.
Nice place, man. It's really cool.
Nice place. Introduce yourself to the folks, man. Some people might not know who you are, which might, não tá doendo. Vou ainda conhecer Charles Caba, pero.
Yeah.
Se não conhecer Charles, who is Charles Croes?
Who is Charles? Charles Croes is a guy who is on Aruba, wanted to retire and couldn't do it. Went through a lot of stuff prior to getting here. I studied in the States. I studied theater. I studied acting. UCLA with a wonderful, wonderful teacher. And I worked in Miami, New Orleans, Atlanta. I worked in New York.
And New Orleans too?
Yeah, New Orleans. Yeah,
New Orleans is very nice.
Yeah, it's great. I worked in probably the smallest, worst stage production. Of who was it? Macbeth, I think we did. It was something with Shakespeare.
Oh.
And I had the second, which means that there was a guy doing the lead, and in case he died, got hit by a bus or something, then I could do it. So I had to know all the lines, and then just sit there every night.
So you have to remember, you have to know all the lines for that.
Everything, and just sit there and be present. And we did that for about 2 months. And I just said, this is not for me, man. I just got done studying 6 years to sit here in a chair and watch somebody. So I fired myself and left, went to Miami, where I was very lucky and got work.
Nice, man. But you have a lot of stories. Every time we sit down, you have at least a few. I said something new under the sun with Charles. Então, você me gostava também, pessoal. You're like a walking library of facts and
thanks.
information, and But what do you feel? Because for the people that don't know, you give acting classes. So if you can elaborate a little bit, and then I'm gonna ask you something, because I feel like this is the opportunity. I'm bringing you here tonight so that we can start to opening the eyes of our people, that if you're an actor, if you want to become an actor, if you want to become a writer, if you want to become a director, anything that you want to do in filming, anto papo no vai pensa que Aruba tá chiquito, não tem nada, que não tem caminho na babobay, tem enda na babobay.
Right.
So but where did this all start? Like, how did you come about? Did you say, I'm going to start giving...
You're talking about on Aruba?
On Aruba,
on Aruba,
classes.
What happened was when I finally said no more work, I was very frustrated, and I was going back to writing books, and I found myself thinking back on, on my days as an actor and as working in film, TV, and things. So then I said, I wonder if there's guys here that'd be interested in that. So I started a small little acting class, 3 people, 3 students, and they blew me away. There was so much talent there. And after the first 2 or 3 weeks, I had 15 kids. And, it just kept going, and then they'd go away, and other ones would come in. So it was a rotation of kids. But what got to me the most, Ephraim, is the innate ability, this natural ability that we as, well, that the local people have. And I've been trying to pick it apart to see where that comes from, you know? But I haven't really reached that point yet.
Wow, so a natural ability, like just
Very natural.
more natural ability to just
Yeah, I think it could come from
to
the
express
fact.
themselves. To that's what you mean, like, basically. Natural ability para expressar mesmo.
Yeah, I think it could come from the fact that the main industry is tourism.
Yeah.
So literally, all of the people that are in tourism are constantly on stage. And so they're constantly, hey, how are you? Is this your first time to Aruba? Blah, blah, blah. And they've got to make it real all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
that's an
they've got to be
interesting point.
believable. So maybe it comes from there. Maybe it comes from cultural aspects, you know, from the past. Although our culture is kind of getting mixed right now, so it's not as pure. It could also come just because there's something in it, in the air, that just says, you know, hey, let's do this, or the boredom. I don't know. I really don't know. But now we're in a class of about 20, and they're all good students. Very solid. Some of them started with me when they were like 8 years old. Yeah, and they've stuck with it. And I've got 4 this particular semester, 4 that are going overseas to continue their studying when they graduate here. Canada, U.S., all over, Holland. And it's their quest to study acting, you know, to continue with it, which is very, very nice.
And,
So,
yeah, that's the deal too. Like I don't know if a lot of people get lost along the way, as in you want to start like you. For me, speaking for myself, like that's what I was telling you off camera. I'm starting to feel after years now that I'm finding my lane as in I know I could be a good actor, but I feel like my lane is mostly going to be in the writing side, in the directing side, in the more behind the scenes type of thing. And I don't know if it's something, I don't know what your point of view is, but if it's something that I feel for me it finds you.
Yeah.
To go to school.
my point of view is the following. I was working with sales offices a great deal here on the island. And I found that there was the salespeople and everybody in the office that had different jobs. They had this bad habit of saying, well, you know, you do this and I do that. And it really bothered me. And I had a meeting one time, and I said to everybody there, and I invited the people who did maintenance, literally fixing bulbs, and the people who did the floor, the housekeeping, you know, making up the everything, everybody, secretaries. And I said, I just wanted to announce to everybody here that you're all salespeople. And they all look, you know, like, you know, this American guy's crazy, you know. And I said, yeah, you're all salespeople. And there's one person took it. You know, it's like when you go fishing, fish finally takes the bait. And there's one lady said, well, I'm a secretary. I'm not a salesperson. I said, no, you're wrong. You sell. How you do it is you write the contracts.
It's a different way of selling, yeah.
So we're all selling.
Yeah.
You know, this man here makes sure the building is nice so that it works. The whole thing works.
Yeah.
So he's that salesman. And it's very much the same thing in film. You've got your camera guy. Well, you know, he's behind the camera and he's, you know, in another world. He's got to know all the technical stuff. But without him, is there a movie? No. Makeup guy. Is there a movie without him? Not a good one. You know, so everybody is a filmmaker. Now, what you do in the filmmaking process is something else.
So.
Okay? So first thing you got to categorize yourself as, I'm a filmmaker. I do film. How do you do that? Well, you know, I'm an actor. I'm a stuntman. I am a whatever, you know? And so you lay it out there and you say, that's what I want to do.
That's a nice way of looking at it.
Yeah, and you find yourself, like you said, you know, you find that, you know, maybe it's better if I go into writing or behind the camera. Then you ask yourself, why? You know, what can I contribute there? You know, do I understand what everybody's doing, kind of thing? It all gels together.
Yeah.
We're entertainers. That's what we are. You know, we're entertainers.
It's tough. It's tough to be an entertainer. Maybe from the outside it might look like, hey, você be badushi, was that? No, man. It's especially in Aruba. Like, I've met a lot of people that, and recently there was this lady, I don't know if you know her, man, I forgot her last name. Papia, I think was her first name. Sammy knows what I'm talking about. She also was, I believe, giving classes or doing some things, but she left. And a lot of people, like Olga, for example, she wanted to try things. Yatawak, mane, okay, the bike leaves for a minute or goes away. In your experience, what do you think is missing, or what is the missing link, or something that we lack, that we still haven't like grasped it yet, that we can make an industry here out of this, out of filming, out of...
It's a hell of a long answer, but...
yeah, I bet.
But it boils down to this. If they're willing to pay you to come in and sit for 2 to 3 hours once a week and listen to you and then do what you tell them, they have an interest. Now, what is their interest? To be a performer? To be a movie star? That's the whole deal there. If they want to perform, if their kicks comes from making viewers happy, and seeing things and interpreting stories, and it's a whole different deal. That's the actor. If someone comes in because you just want to be famous, that's good. But maybe this is not the right place to do it. So you have to separate them. I try to separate the guys and the girls who want to be famous from those who want to entertain. And you have to define that. For example, you read a book, and you have all these characters in it when you're reading the book all by yourself. And you envision these characters. Oh, Peter and the wolf, and wolf must be like this, and Peter must be like that, and I can just see him walking, and you start to go through all of this mechanism in your mind. That's good. But how do you get that thought process into a human? That's where it is. And to do that, you have to teach, and it's universal, the 3 basic steps. You have to explain to people that when they're real small, okay, they copy.
Also.
Copy. We play house when we're 4 or 5 years old. And you copy with the little cup, just like mommy and daddy do. And then when you get a little bit older, you start pretending.
I did some of those, and they went out of hand back in the day.
Yeah, I hear you. We all did. But you start pretending, like playing cowboys. And you go to the movies, you watch the guy do it a couple of times, you go home and you practice in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
You pretend not to do the part, but to be him. So you're pretending constantly. But what it's doing is, it's kind of like getting a block of wood, start chipping away at it and forming what's inside the wood, what statue lives in there. Understand? And so they go through the pretending, and then there's the big leap from copy, pretend, to being. That's the step. Being. That's where you have to teach them. Acting is not just the stuff you see in front of the camera.
Right.
It's research.
Right. Yes.
It's a lot of research. Now, most of the students will say, what do I have to research? I say, well, let's, for example, a person's walking in a door. The camera is shooting from inside the room to the door. The person walks in. How would you do it? And then most students will say, well, I'll try it. I said, well, go ahead and try it. And they'll get on the other side of the door, they walk in, and, go, hi, gang, and they'll do the whole thing about the door. Right. I said, okay. So now, there's another 3 steps. Where'd you come from? Where are you? Where are you going? What do you mean? Well, let's talk about that. Was it raining outside? No. Well, in this pretend world you came from, what was it? Oh, okay, Charles, I understand what you mean. It was snowing. Okay. What are you wearing? Well, I'd have to wear a coat.
There's a lot of details.
Yeah. Okay, so now what are you going to do with that coat? Well, when I come in, I guess I'd have to hang it up. I said, so let's try it again. So now they go out, they come in, they take off their coat and hang it, imaginary coat on an imaginary rack, turn around and talk and say, now, who are you talking to? Why are you talking to them? What do you have to deliver? Is it urgent? Is it sad? Oh, guess what? Bob died. Is it happy? Guess what? Bob wasn't dead. He's alive, And so what is it you're going to say at that moment? You came from somewhere. That's your history. You're dragging it in. You're taking your history off, hanging it up. Now what are you going to do? Okay? And then comes why. That's the 3rd step. And where are you going? What's your motive? What's driving you? You know, what's making you do all of this? And then you go all the way back to the door. Yeah, you're outside and you're saying, now, I'm going to go in there. And I'm going to tell them Bob died. And I hope that we can all go to the funeral. So you got that in your head now. So now you walk in, open the door, and you look at everybody and you say, well, it's really raining outside, and I got some bad news for you guys. Well, what is it? He said, Bob died. Oh, and this dialogue that happens. I said, I'd really like it if we all went to the funeral. So you start talking about that. So what you've done is you've taken those 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. History, now, future. Yeah. The future is important. And you as a writer know this. You know, because if you don't give a future, what are you going to write about? What are you going to write about?
It has to have a destination.
A reason. There's a reason.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing that I teach. And then I teach action reaction. Okay? For example, what you're doing now. I'm explaining something to you, and your posture of listening is this. Some people, you know. So I talk about action reaction. Action reaction. We go through that all over and over again. You know, how would you react to this? And then we actually start to do it. You know, what would you do if someone went to punch you? You'd move. So we start to do all of those little things, all those little exercises where their body comes in. They're now acting with their body. They're reacting. I've got a wonderful person called Olga.
Olga's wonderful.
She's out of this world.
Yeah, man.
And she teaches them the reactions, the body movement, you know? And it all works together. And I've got Ferdinand now who...
Oh, you said Olga, but you mean Gloria.
Gloria, I'm sorry.
Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria Bryce. I'm sorry. I was thinking about Olga a minute ago.
Yeah, but Olga, both of them.
They're both really good. But you know, like you take Gloria, when Gloria comes in and teaches them how to do what they do, well then they're more comfortable. They start to fit into the skin, kind of thing, you know. And then of course, you know, I go into other deals too. This is all the first 6 weeks, where we do the chameleon. You know, the chameleon, pega pega. You know, and he said, look, Pega goes on a wall. What happens to him? Nothing. He just walks on. You ever see him change colors? Yeah. Well, that's what an actor does. You walk into a room on the set, and all of a sudden you're changing your personality. Why? To fit in. You've got to fit in. You've got to be the chameleon that is able to fit in and do it naturally without thinking. Why? Because you're being that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And no, well, I don't know how to act. You know, and people are always saying, oh, I don't know how to act. I said, well, you're acting right now. What do you mean? Is this the way you behave in front of your parents? No. Why are you behaving like that in front of me? Well, I don't. You're acting.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. People who are working in stores
with different people. Yeah.
Of course, they're working in stores. Hi, how are you, ma'am? You know, for the 5,000th time in a week. Can I show you something for the 10 millionth time? You know, but you got to be real every single time.
You got to be believable.
And that's how it works. You know, taking.
I gotta ask you, Charles.
Go ahead.
Kibotas in Aruba, man.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, because with all the knowledge, with all the experience, because right now, even in this session, I am learning from you. Kibotas in Aruba, man. Kikobota Wak, what do you see, or what did you see of the island that you decided to invest yourself here? Because you could have been anywhere else. You could have gone, you could have stayed in Hollywood. You could be part of Hollywood if you wanted to.
Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Yeah, and I didn't succeed. Why? Because for every Charles, there's a billion guys out there better than I am, you know. And I thought it was pretty good, but I wasn't. So I had to sort of, you know, what can I do?
Yeah, work your way around it.
Yeah. So I did that. Now, what am I doing here? I found myself at a certain point from where I was basically working but not making money. I was making money, but not enough. I got married, kids.
Story of my life without the kids.
Right. You know, so all of kids. Exactly. Well, yeah, you know, there's a solution for that.
Non sa. Mi sa, portati un Yui Banana per dirmi sai c'è, però mi da due.
But anyway, so you know, I had to find things to do. And I started in sales because that was the closest thing to acting I could get. So I went in sales and I did my different things, and then I found myself going back into acting. And it was really interesting because when I did that, I was asked to coach. And that's when I started my first little coaching group. I was in Coral Gables at the Coral Gables Playhouse. It's about as big as a closet. It'd take maybe 12 students, and it had a tiny little stage. And I did that for about 6 months, and then the production of The King and I, Anna and the King of Siam, came to Miami, and a guy named Yul Brynner was doing it. And a very famous actor at the time. And he was known for Westworld, a bald guy, always had a cigar in his mouth kind of thing. Anyway, he was a star. He was the king. And he was in charge of casting. And so everybody in Miami that ever dreamt of working went to this cattle call. Boom, we're going there, a casting call. We showed up. And I think I was about the worst one. So I got the least job, which was walking on stage with a tray, and with all these fruits on it, plastic fruits, and putting it in front of the king, and the king would look at it and say, over there, like something like that, And I'd say, as you desire, sir, and I walk off. That was it. But I did it 5 days a week in front of about 800 people for 4 months. Yeah.
Damn.
So as far as I was concerned, I'd hit it.
So we break? Okay, so we break un rato. And we'll be right back na Chubato Djis Papia podcast.
Keto-friendly ice cream. Side effects that incluyen satisfacción, más felicidad, tranquilidad y un dulce sabor. Keto, keto.
Excuse me. What are you doing here?
Taking classes.
What kind of classes?
I'm taking acting classes.
Casticultura, acting classes. Casticultura, ballet. Learn how to do television. Learn how to do film. Crafts, modeling. It's all there for you, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
He says so.
Awe, nos te baiwa nos pueblos conociendo himno. ¿Bota claro? Nos amor pa bota cena grande.
Po, 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 no? Sente? Agora tá contando.
Organic juices, detoxes e hope mais. Health is wealth. Gezond.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So how are you going to fit this in?
No, we good. We good.
No, bicho llegou.
We good. Não sei. Não sei.
Charles, give us a basic on that water key. What are the
Well,
things?
I can finish the story up. I know.
Oh, you want to finish the story?
Whatever you want.
I thought you finished it.
No. Are we running?
Yeah, we back on.
Yeah, and so what happened was, from working with the King and I, then people started asking me, well, do you give classes or anything like that? I guess I look good carrying that tray around. So, they said, can you give classes? And I said, yeah, and I told them where. The guy who, at the Coconut Grove Playhouse, who was the director, he said to me, I've got a spot upstairs. Why don't you give classes there? And I said, sure. I went and took a look at it, and it was as big as my house. There's a big old space up there. So I said, yeah, can I divide it up? And they said, sure. And in those days, we used curtains. So, you got a big space, you just put curtains into different classrooms. And if you can hear each other, too bad, and that's how it was. And so I had this space, and I made 3 classrooms out of it. And we were full, because it was in Coconut Grove. And so we were full all the time. There's a lot of art going on there. We weren't necessarily good, but we were full. And when you're full, and you've got teachers, and you've got students, you're either, if you want to survive, you're going to be good. You got to get good, or you're out. And I didn't want to be out, and neither did the teachers, because it was paying pretty good. So the classes got good,
Nice.
That's when I got my first agency. My agent came to me. Oh, she wasn't my agent. She said, what are you doing so-and-so date? I said, nothing particular. She says, do you have a tuxedo? I said, yeah. And she said, you want to go to a party? And, so where are we headed with this, ma'am? So she says, I'll pay you $250 to walk in with a very pretty girl on your arm. I said, why? She says, because I've been watching the two of you, and you match. I said, okay, that works for me, So that's what we did. And I got paid $250 to walk in a door and look at the playbill, and that was it. I had about 3 seconds of airtime, but they took a lot of pictures. Because it was a big show. It was Marat Sade, and that was opening up. And so when Marat Sade opened up, everybody wanted to go see it, because it was a big kind of a to-do play. And so we were part of the crowd going in, and so they paid for that. And I was union, I was SAG. And so the next thing is somebody said to Beverly, my agent, we need a grip. Well, I don't know if you know what a grip is. You see all these wires around us here?
Yeah.
They got to all be rolled up real nice and neat, and everything tagged, numbered, and everything carried back out to the trunk.
Okay.
And if somebody says, I need a handkerchief, the grip goes and gets the handkerchief and brings it. He's a really
gopher.
Yeah, gopher.
Okay, gopher.
But he's a grip.
All around.
Yeah, he's the guy. So she said, Charles, you've just not too long ago been through 6 years of college for this thing. I got a job. I said, where? And it's Flipper. And I said, yeah, okay. I was thinking, they want me to play the fish or something, and I didn't know what, And so I said, well, what do I do? She goes, you're not going to like it. And I said, why not? She says, you got to be a grip. Yeah, okay, but I took it. Because the same girl that I walked in with, we became boyfriend, girlfriend. So.
I started dating and stuff.
Yeah, so she said to me, take the job. And I said, okay. So I was in this mass of people going back and forth, and carrying stuff, and everybody else is pretty. I was just a little grub, carrying stuff around. But, hi, sir, hi. I was just wanting to meet everybody. And the guy who was supposed to play a certain part of a diver, he doesn't show up. He just doesn't show up.
I guess that happens.
Yeah, so the
director in the big
director says, I'm not going to wait for anybody. So he gets his bullhorn and he goes, anybody in here swim? About 20 people. Yeah, 20 people raised their hands. I'm looking around. I raised my hand. So he says, okay, you guys come up here. He says, no. And he's looking at heights and he goes, go. And there's about 4 of us left. And he says, anybody here ever go scuba diving? I've never been scuba diving. My hand went up first.
But why? You just wanted to?
I needed to get in front of a camera, man. That's what I wanted. And so this other guy and I, and he had film credit. So they said to him, okay, how are you on learning your lines? And this guy, really pearly voice, I can learn my lines in just a minute, sir, like that.
Okay.
And he looked at him and said, get out of here. And I'm stuck. So I was like the last choice. It was an accident. And they said, get him made up. So they took me into a trailer, gave me a bathing suit, and closest thing to a Speedo that there is, without it being a Speedo. Yeah. Give me that. And they put body cake on you. It's this pancake for your whole body.
Yeah.
They spray you and the whole deal.
Well, why do they do that though?
So that it doesn't reflect.
The whole body.
The whole body, so it doesn't reflect. Because we sweat constantly, 24 hours a day. If you don't believe me, check your pillow.
Yeah.
You're constantly sweating.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then they put about 2,000 pounds of hairspray on my hair. Yeah. And took me out there, and I thought, we're going to go out in the ocean. This would be cool. I like this. I'm going to be diving in the water. Wow. And I'll learn how to do this as they pay me. That was in my head was baloney. So
you could have drowned and died.
Of course, but I would have died in front of a camera.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Whoa, yeah.
So anyway, we go out to the dock, and there's this boat tied up, completely tied up. It can't move. And there's guys in the water. It's in about this much, it's a knee-high water. And there's these guys with big boards with handles on them. So when they start shooting,
they make the waves.
Yeah, exactly. And then the cameras are on the dock, shooting out.
Oh yeah.
And they're going like this. And it looks like you're way the hell out in the ocean. I mean, it looks like you're 50 miles out there.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
But you're right there. I mean, you just take one step and you're on land, like that.
Nice.
And then, because I read the script very quickly, they had all these shots of the boat moving, and I said, when are we going to do that? And he said, we've already done those. I said, when? He said, about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
I said, what? They had all of this stock footage.
Wow.
All of it, because this was a program that was going fast. It was on Ivan Tours. It wasn't a big production company.
Okay.
Everything going fast. And that's when Flipper hit. It became famous. And then they started to grow. And they had Gentle Ben, and they had a couple of other ones. But in that particular production, I got on the boat, and I was expecting to go out. We didn't go out. I looked at the script one last time, and he says, you ready? And I said, yes, sir. And we started filming. And I remembered the lines. And, it was nothing more. I had to lie down and cough because I breathed this bad air. And the guy said, who's your agent? And Beverly was there. And so she goes, I am, And she gets 15 points on everything I do. So, I am. So he says, we'd like to take him. And says, doing what? Man diver. Well, he studied. Says, lady, we don't care if he studied or not, He's lucky to have the gig. You going to take it, yes or no?
That's interesting. That's interesting because it makes you wonder, like, bota pensa kung nang-kiak hindi estudiar
No. That's it.
Right place, right time.
Luck. It was luck. You're right.
Luck. Right place, right time.
You're right. It was luck.
But agora, Egadi Machete, Danny Trejo, for example. Danny Trejo, the number one bad guy
Yeah.
Ever. Always a bad guy in the movie. But by chance, a guy que tava começando a acto, no?
Okay.
He was kind of similar story to yours. He was an extra.
He was a prisoner.
He was a prisoner, and they were filming in a prison,
Yeah.
and he was and he was there as an extra, and then somebody fell out or got knocked out in something.
Yeah.
Anybody here can box? And of course his tattoo.
Yeah.
It's very eye-catching, so he said, "Hey, you, come here, go in the ring," and then that's how Danny Trejo started.
Damn, I didn't know
Machete,
that.
yeah, Machete don't lie.
No, really. So anyway, so that's how that happened.
Wow, Charles, damn.
That's how that happened. And so I just walked away from the set, and I said, well, that was fun. And they handed me like 10 of these scripts. Like episode this, episode that.
Yeah, nice.
And I thought, well, I'm going to have to read all. It was like 2 lines, just walking. Some scripts, they would
Just
shoot.
visual, right?
Yeah. What they do is, exactly.
Yeah.
They shoot the back of my hair or something, nodding. The guy go nod. I go like this. Okay, say thank you. Okay, you're done. And then they'd use that in maybe 10 different episodes. And they just fit it in, and they build little things,
Okay.
and that's how that was made.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
Interesting.
But anyway, so having done that and having then gone on to other things, when I came to Aruba, I just said, to answer your initial question,
Right.
I just said, there's so much talent because I tried the small little classes, and there's so much talent. And as a matter of fact, you remember this. I went to, a poetry night back here somewhere.
Oh yeah, the one at
Yeah.
Botica Aruba.
Botica Aruba,
yeah,
correct.
Beam, it was
And
called. Yeah.
I sat there and I was blown away. I was blown away by all of this talent, all of these people just rocking stuff out. In comes Madman. And, he starts with his poetry thing, man, and I'm going like, wow.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah, so I walked over to Maria Silva and I said, Maria, I've got to go congratulate this guy. And she goes, do you have a poem? I said, no, I'll make one up, and I just needed to say thank you to him. And I did.
Oh, yeah.
I told him, I said,
Totally flattered.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was in 2016, 2015, 2016. So,
Cara, o bicho subir stage não tá wega,
não vamos, sabe?
Attention.
that's before he shaved.
Yeah, exactly.
Imaginavo,
Imaginavo. Stage tunko atrobe una vez potrei un plataforma, una vez potrei un stage, una vez potrei un podium. Botinha atenção de gente. Botinha atenção de gente. It's up to you what you're gonna do with people's attention. How you're going to stimulate people. Prikkel gente man de bisa na holandês. So you sway the rhythm. Yeah.
Then the next time we worked together was on the opening of that St. Nicholas bar.
Yeah, we had
St. Nicholas store.
Nicholas store. Yeah, we had a few projects.
Yeah.
That we worked on, theater projects that we worked on, and also we had a short movie. So yeah, I mean, acting. Think actor schon in Aruba. I mean, acting is alive in Aruba.
Yeah.
The place is talented, but again. Yeah, we need to funnel everything. No?
Yeah.
It's not funneled like and nós não tem ainda talento não tem, pero ainda não tem But we're going there. I mean,
it's going in the right direction.
You're contributing by giving classes, so things like that. And again, we're given we have this platform to expose to. Yeah, give you the exposure that people know. Behind the saco, hey, se você quer actuar, se você tem interesse em actuar, se você quer algo assim, não pode contato, não pode, não pode na classe.
I appreciate that.
E não pode desarrollar, they can develop their skill, which they might use in the future.
They just call Casa Cultura and they'll get them in the right direction. But to get back to this question, it's an important question. So then I found myself teaching people, and they would get a chance to go do something, and they'd go do it, and they'd come back and I did so and so. I said, oh, great, how'd you like it? Hope you trabalhou. They were animated, but not. They liked it, but not. And I kept, so I said, what went wrong? He says, nothing pero no te ni agradecido. And that hit me. We've got all of these kids working, not getting paid. And I thought about that for quite a while. A good friend of mine came to Aruba, an actor, used to be actor, and we were talking, and he said, I told him about the situation, and he said, well, Charles, just think about something. If there was 2 shoe shine shops, right on the street, one guy gives shoe shine for free. The other guy charges you $10, $10 per shoe. Yeah, you got a brand new pair of shoes. Which one are you going to go to? Me personally, I go to the guy for the $10. Why? Because he, he's not going to. Yeah, he's earning it. He's going to do something. Right? Yeah. And he said, Charles, that's the same thing with actors. If they continue, and artists, if they continue to do it for free, their value is gone.
Exactly.
When you're getting paid for it, you're going to do it better. The directors and the company is going to expect more. And if you get paid $10, we're all expecting $10 worth of business, talent. But then all of a sudden you say, well, I want $100. Okay, got to do it 10 times better.
Correcto.
Yeah?
It's not that, exactly.
So then you get up to the Brad Pitt level, well, I need $50 million. That's good. You really got to knock it out, kid.
Yeah.
So it all has to do with, we have to train people and they have to learn, blah, blah, blah. But more importantly, we have to reward them. We have to say, here, thank you. We shot a film together, and one of the priorities it was a big priority for me, make sure everybody gets paid. No matter what. Pay them. And we did. We paid everybody. Everybody got paid. And it changed, even though it wasn't a great film, I'm not going to lie to you, it wasn't.
It changed the dynamics.
But we all did it. And we did it professionally to an extent, as much as possible.
Yes.
Why? Getting paid. It was getting paid. It had value. So, and somebody said to me, I'm not going to mention names, is this costing you a lot of money? And I said, well, why? He said, because you're paying me so much. And I said, listen, take a look at everybody here. Multiply more or less what you're getting there by this amount of people. That's what it's costing you to ask me that question. I said, that's why it's important you know your lines. That's why it's important that we're all in sync. You show up on time, leave on time, know everything. The lights. Every time you make a mistake,
it's costing.
Yeah, if a director says cut, shoot it again, that you've just thrown away a lot of money. And these are the things actors need to learn. This is the stuff you can't teach.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's there. It's there. And you've got to respect, as a performer, as an actor, you've got to respect who wrote this thing. What were they thinking about? Why did they write it? Where were they when they wrote it? That whole thing. You got to find out. Where you take on a character, you've got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, man. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Imagine I'm in Alaska in an igloo, freezing my butt off, and I write a story. And you're here on a tropical island, Caribbean.
All going to interpret that. Yeah,
you get it. And you put on your bathing suit and you go out and interpret the part. Well, I'm going to be upset as a writer. Well, what are you doing? Because you're interpreting it from your point of view. It was your job as the actor to say, where was this guy when he wrote it? Was he sick? Was he not? What was happening?
The state of mind, that's how far it goes. Yeah.
Sure.
State of mind, because if you don't know the state of mind, you can't really narrate the story to the fullest efficiency of the story.
Yeah.
Because again, it's the state of mind. It's where you were. It's the geographics. It's everything. That's why acting is not just. Acting is not just. A lot of people say, I want to act, but there's so many aspects that come with acting. There's so many layers that come with acting that
Well, I got a great story about you that I tell people all the time. One time we were at some sort of a poetry thing at the St. Nicholas store, and he was on the stage. and I did my poem, and he did his thing, and I said to him, hey, let's do the thing that we did, when we opened up the place, and he said no.
Yes,
he goes,
that was at the rancho, yeah,
and so he said to me, it ain't right. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, it ain't right. And he walked away. Now, I wanted to do it, but he was right. If we had done it there, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
Yeah, you gotta make the right choices.
Exactly. The rancho, by the way, is where that started.
Yeah.
Because I wrote a thing there, and I did that monologue.
Yep.
And Olga was sitting in the audience.
Shout out to Gita.
Yeah, she was sitting in the audience. She heard it, and then she said, I'd like to use that. I said, sure, And that's how that whole thing got happening. It was a good time.
All right, Charles, so you see any hope for us here on the island? So you really believe that we can do something?
I know we can.
Yeah?
I know we can.
Yeah.
Look, Ephraim, if I need to shoot a desert scene, I'd drop cloth on him and make him look like he's an Arab guy, I do the same thing for me. We go out to the dunes and we walk out there and we got to film.
That's true, though.
We're in the Sahara, man.
We were talking about this. We were talking about Aruba as
soundstage.
As a soundstage. Aruba,
it's a location.
As an island as a location.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a location for
multiple
shooting, for international shooting. For I mean, you don't need to go far. I mean, this area. For example, if you say, for example, you need to go to Australia. I mean, here in Aruba, the landscape is very, very similar. So so that's one of the things. Also, as we said, Aruba can be a soundscape or landscape or somewhere to film.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, and I didn't even think about it. A friend of mine was here on vacation, and she took some pictures of her by the gold mines, close to the North Coast. And she travels all over the world, and she had just been to Spain. And in Spain, she was in one of those old castles, and then she transposed. They came to Aruba and shot pictures, just photographs, And I looked at them and I said, it's the same damn thing. Same thing. If you need a jungle, we got one. We got one. I mean, how much space, how much jungle do you need?
Yeah.
You're making a movie. You're not,
you don't. I mean,
you don't need a lot. A Miami Vice. We could do it here. We have the hotels. We could do a Miami Vice. I want to do a picture of industry falling apart. We got it.
You got Lago. Yeah.
Close?
Yeah. Already?
Tempo do passo ali.
Oh my goodness, I was having fun, man.
Quase o você acha que o Charles tá... Observore, guy que tá library de knowledge, man. Pode sinta discutir o guy que papi, man.
But what are we doing? It's finished?
Yeah, we gotta close it up.
Yeah, we gotta close it.
Is there a part 2?
We got a part, definitely.
Let's do a part 2.
We're gonna do part 2, part 3, part 4, however.
I want to do as many parts as possible, not to promote my stuff.
No.
But to get people interested in performing.
Yes, there you go.
That's what I want to do.
Can I apply? I'm an old goat.
I'm gonna put the information for anybody that. I'm gonna put the information para Charles. Yeah. Se não coisa interessar.
Yeah.
Correcto.
Charles, daqui para llegar one. Appreciate your time.
More than welcome.
Appreciate your space. Be very wary because there's a lot of work coming up. Se não coisa puntrando, please, quando de sketches não paciente conosco. Você vai trabalhando movies ou what aqui.